Business Talk with Nats Today is brought to you by Team Hubs, your one-stop shop for all your business supplies and logos. Visit us today at teamhubsuccess.com.
All my girls unite. No, we do it right when my team work every day and night. Yeah, we shine, yeah. What's my teamwork?
Thank you so much for investing your time today with us. I am your host, Natoy Foster Stewart. In our daily lives, we have been hearing about teamwork in every workplace, how effective it is, the advantages and disadvantages. Joining us today in the discussion, we have Miss Kiana Jarrett, a supervisor at Grace Kennedy, Miss Gayla McCoy, team lead at ITEL, Mistress Jody Anderson, CEO at Sandals White House, and Miss Kamisha Cameron, CEO at Conduent. Welcome, ladies. A lot of our viewers might be wondering what are we saying when we're talking about teamwork. Some persons don't even have a clue. So I'm going to break it down for my viewing public out there. When we talk about teamwork, it means that people work together, staff work together, people will try to cooperate using their individual skills and providing constructive feedback despite any personal conflict between individuals. Teamwork is very crucial in the business when co-workers can work together to achieve the company goals and objectives. I manage various teams at work. Sometimes the job is smooth sailing. Another time, it's rocky due to the fact that, various staff have different personalities that you have to deal with. If my team is ineffective in working together, that means as a manager, I am ineffective. I will not be able to achieve the goals that I've set up. Good teamwork encourages trust and loyalty. So let me now move over to Miss Kiana. Miss Kiana, why you think teamwork is important to your company? What are some of the benefits? How do you resolve team issues? What advice you have out there for other companies?
First, I must say thank you so much, Natalie. Good day, guys. So for me, teamwork is important because it helps in increasing collaboration and has a scope for brainstorming, which will result in getting more ideas. And some advantages of teamwork are more productivity, learning new things, information exchange, and team commitment. Meanwhile, some disadvantages are missing deadlines by not completing tasks, difficulty in getting started, members not contributing, ineffective communication, as well as conflict between team members. One tip I would share with other companies would be listen to each team member and make each idea feel as important as the next. One way I would resolve a team issue would be give everyone a specific task in which will allow full participation and getting everyone on board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Kiana. Ms. Kamisha, what is your input on the role of a supervisor in your team? Are you a good supervisor? What is your management style? How effective is it? Give me an example and what advice you have for other supervisors out there when things get rough in your team.
Good day, everyone. Before I get into discussing my role as a supervisor, let me give a definition of who a supervisor is. So a supervisor is basically an individual who is responsible for the productivity and action of a small group of employees. Typically, my role as a supervisor includes planning and allocating workplace, making decision, monitoring, performing, and compliance, providing leadership and building teamwork, and ensuring workforce involvement. Why do I think of myself as a good supervisor? To be honest, I believe that a good supervisor is someone who offers leadership and bring their team together. It is someone with good communicational skills, neutral, trustworthy, flexible, and who knows how to delegate effectively, utilizing problem-solving skills, creativity, and critical thinking. With that said, I think I do have all the traits of a good supervisor. So yes, I would say I am a good supervisor as I'm a leader that is a learner and I treat my subordinate as partners. I'm happy to share a few pointers of my management skills. As in managing my team, I choose to use more than one managing style, as I believe in flexibility and using different approach for different situation based on the results I need and also depending on the needs of my team. Some of which includes authoritative styles. I believe in being a confident leader who maps the way and set expectation while engaging and energizing my team along the way. Pace setting style, as I am a very driven leader who set the pace as in racing. Setting goals and pushing my team members to achieve their goals. I also use democratic style as a supervisor. I value the opinion of my team. I mostly use coaching style. I view people as a reservoir of talent to be developed. Therefore, I strongly believe in coaching my team as this approach unlocks their potential. How effective is my leadership skills and some examples? Well, I find my leadership skill to be very, very effective as my team work consistently in providing great results. This is due to the fact that I am very consistent. I think it is the first rule because it applies to everyone. I believe that my managerial approach can be effective. For it to be effective, it must be consistent. I award the same behavior every time it appears and discourage any negative behavior when they appears and treat every member of my team equally. I focus on clarity and accuracy when communicating with my team. I set my goals and publicly reward and recognize my team for their hard work. What advice I would give to other supervisors when the ocean is rough is basically never go with a one size fit all. We need to look at our team members. Your team is comprised of individuals with unique preference, strength, weakness, and ideas. Never use the exact same approach to motivate, encourage, or mold all of them. Focus on an individual and customize your approach to fit each member. As a supervisor, I think the best example is to be the example. As the supervisor, I have to ensure that I set an example in terms of my behavior. If I show up late, then I can't expect my team members to be punctual. If I lose my temper easily, others will be amiss. In keeping their emotions in check, I strive to be my own ideal of the perfect worker, especially in front of my team. What I think is most effective is listen and ask question. If someone doesn't agree with my managerial style or doesn't like the direction of the company, I never silence that person. I listened, ask questions of my entire team. What do you think of this? How do you feel about this? This open dialogues make it easier to approach individual, identifying problems and working toward together to create a mutual beneficial environment. It also allows my team to feel appreciated and acknowledged. These are just few of the steps I take to achieve a smooth sailing on my team.
Thank you so much, Miss Cameron. I do agree with you. As leaders, we have to set examples when it comes on to our team so that our team can follow the example. So I now turn over to Miss Jody. Just a few questions for you. Does all your staff in your team have the same understanding of the goals? Give me, example. Do they all work together to achieve these goals? Is your team effective? How are you able to differentiate between effective team members and ineffective team members? What advice you have to other companies so that, they can have effective teams?
Hi, I should say good evening to everyone. Thanks for having me on your program, Natoy. Really do appreciate you calling me to be on board to discuss effective leadership styles. All right, so what we do is to strive, even though none of us are perfect, we strive to work towards the goal that is set, because not everyone will be on the same level of understanding. Not everyone will be at the same pace of learning. So then now, us as leaders, we would have to put in place different policies and procedures, different measures in order to communicate with our staff well and getting the point across so everyone will be able to be on the same level. And when we are all on the same level, then the goal will be reached effectively. That's the number one trait of being an effective team. I would say my team is effective. Why? Because we learn to collaborate. Once we have a project to complete, we all collaborate. We have a meeting. We ensure that all staff members attend that meeting, right? Once we are in that meeting, then what we would do is to allow everyone to give an input. That's also a good trait of having an effective team, because you have to ensure that every single body or every single one person, sorry, individual in the meeting has a say, and then now we would delegate and come to a decision of what we would do or how we would move forward in achieving the set goal. Because as in the hotel industry, I work in the wedding department. So you have a lot of persons that have a lot of bookings for weddings and all that, and we have to ensure that we get our group together in order to meet everybody's needs and exceed expectations. No, I would say an effective team is what I just said, and to emphasize, effective teams, most of the decisions that are reached in form of a consensus. So everyone will discuss and then later come to an agreement as to how to move forward. So everyone comes to an agreement. For an ineffective team, the actions are taken prematurely. So you might have a dictative leader on the team, and who decides to say that this is the way to go, and don't listen to others person's opinion. And Kimisha had touched on that point earlier, where you have to be a good listener. Listen to your employees. Once they feel like that they are valued, then you know that you will get more out of them. All right. Also, I would say most of my team members have a good understanding. And if it's a case where I realize that someone might be lagging a bit or might not have a good understanding of what the goal might be, then I would have a meeting with that person, or try to use another method of relaying the information so it is understood efficiently. That's what a great leader does. All right, now my advice to other leaders or managers out there is to follow the 7 C's of communication. Once you follow the 7 C's of communication, you can never go wrong, because you have to be transparent and be direct in what you have to say. Once you provide transparency, then the goal is more clear in the minds of the employees, and they will have a better understanding of how to meet the set goal. Also, encourage your team. Do some little fun activities. Say I work in the hotel industry. So what we would do is to put a goal in mind, and say if you reach the goal, then you will be awarded this. We have employee of the month, so we award employees that work above and go above and beyond for our guests and customers. All right. You need to provide also feedback to your employees. Ensure that you provide feedback. Let them know where they're at and where they need to go. Follow the sandwich technique. Start with the positive, you know, sometimes the negative criticism is good because it builds you. It builds you as a person. So you start with the positive, the negative, and then end with a positive. Also, try different ways in order to overcome, you know, hiccups, because in every organization, on every team, you're going to have hiccups. You're going to, you know, have some bad days, but we have to put into place measures where we overcome those hiccups. The road might be rocky, but at the end of the day, we know our final destination. Jump over the hurdles. You'll find how good that will work if we all, as leaders, practice that in our everyday life. So that's what I have to say. And thank you again for having me.
Very strong point you have there, Jody. As I have the saying, say, encouragement strengthen labor. We
Definitely.
right. We now turn over to Miss Gayla. She'll give us some insights on gender and cultural differences. How persons in her team commit to their goals. What advice she have for other companies who are, experiencing gender and cultural issues.
Oh, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure to be here. Well, as it pertains to persons committing to achieving goals on a team, as a team lead, you have to put measures in place. So, for example, you have to have an understanding with your workers that they must not be stereotyped, because it's not all that you hear about someone is actually true about them. So what you need to do is to do some presentations and let them know that, hey, you need to get to know a person before you actually go ahead to start judging them. So once you start doing that now, when you start doing some team building exercises to get to know the person, get to know them close on a different light than knowing them in the workplace, then that will build a bond. You sometimes you end up not being a team member anymore. It starts to become like a family. So that will make you feel more comfortable and start working together more as a team, and the job will be done and completed more effectively in that manner. Also, yes, gender and culture can cause a major effect in performance at your workplace. If you don't understand someone's culture or their belief, or if it's a case that persons are talking against a particular gender, someone may be in the workplace and there are persons there saying this and that about the person, but it's a workplace. So you need to establish to team members, when you're at work, do not have sidebar conversations. That's not your business. Do not have religious conversation, because I may be a Christian, that person may be a Muslim, and I say something about them that definitely affect them and that cause a conflict on your team. Once there's a conflict that will arise on your team, it cause problem, and then the work cannot be done. So those things can cause team members not to perform effectively on a team. I never experienced it before, because I teach my team member not to only be co-workers, but to become a family and have a bond. So I never really experienced that before. So my advice to other workplaces and leaders are that you need to not only say, I need this work to be done, but also you need to be someone that your members can trust. You can be someone that they can confide in, because sometimes they're going through issues, not work, but it's coming from their home. It's affecting them mentally. So that cause them not to perform. So you must have eye for detail. So when you're at a workplace as a leader, you must can look and say, hey, Tom is not like this, this is not how Tom always perform. So you can pull Tom aside. He's on the phone. You said, hey, log a personal, Tom. I need to talk to you. You need to get to know what is going on with Tom. So you need to be a leader that can empathize with your workers. You must be a caring leader, understanding leader. So once you develop those attributes and attitude, it will allow work to flow much more easier, and your workers will not only look on you as a leader, but they will respect you differently and say, hey, she's not only our leader, but she's someone that cares about us and wants to understand us, and we can talk to us. Once that is in a workplace, you will get the best work out of your workers. That is my advice to other organizations and leaders. Thank you.
Well, great point, Gayla. Great point. You hit the nail right on the head. So, guys, we had, a very informative session just now. According to Bruce Stockman, an educational psychologist, he identified 5 stages of development process that, teams must follow. We have the forming stage. When we talk about the forming stage, this is where you get acquainted with everyone. This is basically the orientation process. We have the storming stage as well. This is the most critical stage. This is where you have conflicts because persons have different personalities and they may disagree or agree with the goals. We have the norming stage as well. This is where the conflicts are resolved. In this stage, this is where you will know who your leaders are and the roles each individual will play. You have the performing stage as well. At this point, the team is now centered. Everybody in the team, they are now mature and they are performing, they are doing their task. Finally, we have the adjourning stage. At this point, all the goals are now accomplished. Everything is in order. So you just put all the documents together. So now, guys, Jody, do you use any of these stages in your organization? Like the forming stage?
Definitely. What we try to do in the forming stage is that we try to, once we have persons that are coming in, new persons that are coming in, we ensure that we try to build a bond with them, try to get to know them better. We ensure that we have at the last stage of training, we'd have managers and supervisors come and introduce themselves. We would then, assign them to their team. So we have to, have a structured, you have to have structure going on, all right, to ensure that it runs smoothly. So yes, that's what we do in our organization. We ensure that everyone builds a bond.
Thank you so much, Jody, for that bit of information. So, guys, we have now come to the end of our discussion. Great discussion, very informative on teamwork and its effectiveness. I am sure all the listeners and viewers out there have learned something from our discussion today and will apply it in their daily task at work. I want to cordially thank you, all my panelists, viewers, and sponsors for joining us today. Feel free to reach out to us with questions via email at teamwork90@yahoo.com. Our wonderful team is readily available to assist you. Your host, Natoy, signing out today. Thank you so much.
When they knock me down, my crew will pick me up. Yeah, we keep each other strong with love, love. All my girls unite, rocking side by side, watch my team